This man risked his life every day. Do you know why? King Darius trusted Daniel with making important decisions for the kingdom. Everyone knew that if you made the king happy, you would receive great rewards. But Daniel wasn't motivated by money or power. Daniel was a righteous man who loved God. He was always honest and never flattered the king, even when it went against his own best interests. The other advisors hated this because they knew they couldn't trick Daniel. So they hatched a plan to get rid of him once and for all. Now, the king really liked having all of these advisors because he got to hear many different opinions about what he should do. But these advisors weren't friends with each other. They were all jealous of one another and wanted to be the king's favorite. If they could get rid of Daniel, then there would be one less person standing between them and the throne. So the jealous officials went to the king and said, "Hey, Darius, look, we love you so much that we want to make you even more powerful. We have a great idea." And the king said, "Oh, let me hear it." And the officials said, "You should make a rule that everyone in the empire must only pray to you for the next 30 days. No one can pray to any other god during that time. Anyone who prays to another god will be thrown into a den of hungry lions." King Darius thought this was a great idea. This would show everyone how powerful he was. So he wrote a decree and posted it throughout the empire. Now, Daniel heard about this new law, but he didn't care. Every day he prayed 3 times a day, and that wouldn't change. The jealous officials were very happy when they heard the king's decree, because they knew they had finally gotten rid of Daniel. They walked up to the king and said, "Thank you so much for getting rid of that troublemaker. Now we don't have to listen to him anymore." Meanwhile, Daniel kept on praying. He didn't stop even after the king threatened his life. Daniel prayed, "God, please forgive me for not paying attention to the king's decree. It's not because I don't respect the king, but I just can't stop praying to you." The jealous officials saw that Daniel still wasn't afraid, and they wanted to make sure he wasn't faking it. So they sent some spies to watch him. The spies hid outside Daniel's house and waited for him to come out. Sure enough, they saw him walk into the temple 3 times a day and come out again a few minutes later. Then the officials went to the king and said, "We think Daniel isn't taking our advice. We saw him enter the Jewish temple 3 times a day." King Darius was upset when he heard this because he really liked Daniel. He wasn't happy that Daniel broke his rules, but he also didn't want him to die. So he tried to come up with a solution. Maybe he could pass another decree saying that Daniel didn't have to follow the first one. But unfortunately, it was against the law to go back on a decree. If he did, then people would lose faith in him. So the king had no choice but to throw Daniel into the lion's den. As the guards were taking Daniel away, he told them, "Thanks for ruining my life. I hope those lions enjoy eating advisors for dinner." When King Darius heard these last words, he was sad. He knew Daniel was innocent and didn't deserve this. But the king had to do what the law said. So he closed the entrance to the lion's den, sealed it with a stone, and left. That night, Daniel prayed, "God, I've done everything right. Why are you letting this happen to me?" God heard Daniel's prayer and sent an angel to shut the mouths of the lions. So when the king came in the next morning, he saw that Daniel was alive. Everyone was so happy to see that Daniel was okay. The king immediately went to the den and asked him, "How are you alive? Didn't I order that you be thrown into the lions?" Daniel replied, "It's all thanks to God. He sent his angel to shut their mouths." After hearing this, the king immediately ordered the stone slab to be removed. Then he helped Daniel climb out of the den. Everyone cheered as Daniel came out of the den. He was covered in dirt, but he was alive. Then the king went to the men who put Daniel in the den and said, "You idiots! Do you know that God is in control here? You put my best advisor in the den, but God protected him. You guys are so screwed." The king threw them into the den of lions. But the lions didn't eat them because their mouths were shut. Daniel didn't gloat over this, though. Instead, he said, "God doesn't want us to celebrate when people die. These men made a big mistake, but now it's up to God to decide what happens to them." The next day, the king invited Daniel to his palace for dinner. They ate, drank, sang, and celebrated. The king was so grateful that Daniel was still alive. He gave him many gifts and promoted him to a higher position. But before Daniel could accept any of the gifts, he said, "No, thank you, kind sir. I cannot accept any gifts from you or serve in your government. My God is the one who protected me from the lions. I must serve him alone." The king understood Daniel's decision and respected it. From that day forward, he treated Daniel even better and made sure he was always included in important meetings. Some people say that being loyal to God sometimes means you have to suffer, but that's not true. Sometimes God will protect you and help you succeed. In Daniel's case, God protected him from death and made him famous throughout the empire. At the end of the story, the king made a nationwide announcement. He said, "I am declaring a new law. Everyone in the empire must honor the God of Daniel, because he is the only one who can perform such a miracle." The people were surprised to hear this, but they agreed. They had seen Daniel's God work a miracle, and they wanted to believe in him too. And that's the end of the story. Now, let's take a look at the lessons we can learn from this passage. First of all, Daniel was a man of integrity. Even though he served a wicked king, he never compromised his beliefs. Secondly, we can see that evil people hate righteousness. They try to destroy it whenever they can. Furthermore, we learn that God sometimes allows us to face suffering, so that our faith will grow. Lastly, we must remember that God will never allow us to be tempted beyond what we can handle. So what will you do if you were in Daniel's place? Let us know in the comments. And now, let's take a look at some of your comments from the previous video. John said, "I love this channel. Keep going. God bless you. Thank you so much for your support. We will continue to make more videos in the future." Caleb said, "Please add subtitles to your videos. Thanks. We actually already added subtitles to all of our videos. You can turn them on by clicking the settings button below." Anonymous said, "Make a video about Nehemiah." We actually already made a video about Nehemiah. You can click here to watch it. If you want to request a video, leave a comment below, and we might make it. And now, it's time for you to make a decision. Are you going to continue living like you normally do, or will you choose to live for Jesus? Don't wait. The sooner you choose to follow Jesus, the better your life will become. Well, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button. And if you haven't already, subscribe. We will see you next time.